Good morning, fans, and welcome to PWR Weekly. It's the man they call Meathead. It's the lovely Linda Kay, and stuck somewhere in Denver. I don't know, it's suburban Denver, somewhere out there. Can't get out of the building since AEW Dynamite and Rampage. Matthew Thomas somewhere in the building.
Yeah, there was that huge blizzard that took a storm across the nation, and it definitely
did take a Tony storm.
Yes, it definitely hit the Metro Denver area as Matthew, who, you guys, if you looked hard enough, if you saw a salmon long sleeve button down shirt on Dynamite and Rampage last week, then you spotted our very own Matthew Thomas live and in color right there, taking it all in. He might have even gotten some color on him just because he was that close.
That's right. The only thing that I got to say about this, Linda, is that while I enjoy a Matthew Thomas sighting on television, it distracted the hell out of me. I couldn't stop watching Matthew Thomas. For one, sit down. Luckily for him, he was at the back, so I don't know how deep it was, 3 rows, 4 rows, whatever it is, of that front section. Mm-hmm. But he was at the back of that, so the people behind him were up a little bit. Who's nicegirls.com, which is right next to Matthew or whatever that was, 2nicegirls.com or whatever. I'm not quite sure who's promoting what, but yeah, his granny sign and his Hank Hill sign, too much, just way too much. Linda Kay, before we start getting into this week's festivities and reviews and previews and predictions and news and all that other stuff, who's our sponsor?
That would be the wonderful Collar and Elbow.
Yeah, put them up on glass.
Mirror t-shirt. As always, go to collarandelbowbrand.com. Check out the latest and greatest in wrestling street fashions. And as always, any time of day, any time of year. Happy New Year, by the way. Any time of year, you can use promo code LindaK. That's LINDAKAY to save 10% off your order. And another great friend of ours, another sponsor, that would be ProWrestlingInsurance.com. You can always, again, any time of year, any time of day, add supplemental coverage to make sure you and your family is covered any time of day, no matter what happens. You don't have to be a pro wrestler. It's good for you, for your family, for anybody, really. Coverage as low as $8 a month. That's personal coverage. That's also event coverage for any promoters out there looking to get covered for your wrestling event. And also, there's life insurance available. So visit Chris.
Wait, did you say wife insurance?
Life insurance.
Okay.
Yeah, so make sure to visit our friend Chris, ProWrestlingInsurance.com. He'll be able to help you out with that. Make sure you are covered. 2023, baby.
Do I insure the wife or am I insured from the wife is what I'm wondering when you get wife insurance.
However you want to do that.
All right, let's talk a little bit of news here. Linda, I know you've been saying that you've been hungry a little bit. I know that, the man they call Meathead is always being wanted to be fed more. Ryback, Ryan Reeves, has had a trademark case against the WWE for a long time. I believe it's been going on for almost 5-6 years now. Well, WWE has finally dropped their case. He's announced on Twitter, and once the U.S. Patent and Trade Office makes it official, Ryback is officially Ryback. Now, here's the thing. Ryan Reeves was not Ryback before he came in, or was he? Yeah, actually, I believe he was. I think he brought the machine in, because remember, when he started in NXT, he was the corn-fed meathead, which I had a trademark against as well, because, there's only one meathead that we know. But Linda, your thoughts on Ryback being Ryback now and taking it across the nation? Does Ryback hit the independent scene? Does Ryback hit, AEW or Impact?
Yeah, I haven't known of him hitting the many indie shows or appearances, so maybe he was just waiting. He's like, I need Ryback, my name, that name, before I can proceed. I don't know, but I think that's great. I mean, I think this is a great step moving forward for him. I think maybe we'll start seeing some updated videos, pictures of what he's planning to do next. I think that's great. And now, start with the indie scene, unless there's already some other contractual, I want to say obligation, other contracts.
Commitments. Yeah.
Yes. Perhaps with any other promotions that maybe that's just what he's waiting. He's like, no, I want to compete as Ryback. That is me. And now could find him somewhere big. Who knows? But yeah, that's great to hear.
He's hungry for more appearance fees, is what he's hungry for. So feed him more. Ryback will be hitting the road in 2023, and it is 2023. Happy New Year to everybody. Feliz Navidad and all that other stuff. We haven't talked to anybody since the Christmas holidays. How was your Christmas, Linda?
It was tremendous.
How was your Kwanzaa?
Tremendous. Hanukkah too.
Your Hanukkah too?
Everything was nice and laid back. I was home in Wisconsin, so it was just very nice. A nice little breather before we venture out into this new year that I know is going to be insane, but in a great way. So how about you, Meathead?
We had it. I mean, Matthew Thomas obviously stuck in the snow. That's one deal. We had a Arctic blast that just hit us out of nowhere to the point where I wore a winter jacket, which is something I don't do. But, going from that and then going from icy roads, back and forth from the home center in Appleton down to the Milwaukee area, back and forth a couple of days in a row. Yeah, everything went well. Lots of travel, but, nothing like the Fanny Pack Kid who's let me sidetrack here. I don't know if you saw this. The Fanny Pack Kid is selling the Fanny Pack Mobile, right? I saw that post was up there. How is he not promoting that as the car that a future Hall of Famer has been driving back and forth to Louisville? How is that not being promoted?
We got to focus on that fanny pack itself versus the means of transportation, I guess. But
how is he not driving a fanny pack? How is the car not modeled after a fanny pack, where you open up the hood and that's the front of the fanny pack?
That I don't know, for some reason I'm just envisioning the Scooby Doo mobile, which, by the way,
the mystery machine, by the way.
Yes, thank you. I was just gonna say, but there was one in your old stomping grounds in Cudahy at least a couple of years ago that was roaming around. Just so you know, I have a picture of it. I gotta send that to you if you haven't.
Cudahy. I had a girl out. You know what? Never mind. That's a joke for another time, Linda K. Shinsuke Nakamura making some news over in Noah, over in the Japan area, as he defeated the Great Muta. Linda, I saw some clips from this match. You're going to tell us about the finish in a second, but it is unbelievable. That the WWE of the 22, 2023 era is allowing talents to go over and work other shows. B, they're allowing them to use the music that they made, because remember, that's the CFOs that made that song. And then C, did you see the building that they were in? The entrance Shinsuke made, that looked to be a 20 to 25,000 seat arena that was just packed. And Linda, the finish of the match?
Yeah. Well, as far as the entrance, I did see that. As far as the music goes, as you mentioned, Shinsuke did bring the violinist, who does bring him out. We've seen him bring in Shinsuke at takeovers in the past as well, or even when he made his big debut on SmackDown. I do remember that. I remember at WrestleMania with Nita Strauss. That was amazing. But it was a violinist who actually brought him out at the special as well. So that was cool to see. His attire was amazing coming out to the ring. And then the finish. So I saw this. It was so unique. It's Shinsuke. So basically, Great Muta was going to give him that miss, but instead, Shinsuke grabs his face, sucks all that poison or mist or whatever that liquid, the fluid is, out of the Great Muta's mouth, sprays it back into Muta's face.
So he stole his poison.
Pretty much, in a unique way there. That was a way to suck out the poison from, I guess, the enemy.
Alice Cooper had a song about that. Yeah, Alice Cooper used to say that he was poison running through my veins. So, wow.
Yeah, so that's what happened. And then he sprayed him with the mist and got the victory. But just so cool to see. Obviously, Great Muta is such a great legend. And then I know you mentioned seeing the photos after, too, of them going up the ramp together.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's a picture that you're not gonna, just pass by, is two dudes holding each other up on the ramp with green faces. So, like they had a bad bowl of tiramisu or something. I don't know. So, let's move on to Raw from last week, which technically didn't exist. It was the first time. Raw used to brag about how they put on 52 shows a year. This was a highlight show. It started off with the Street Profits on green screen, of course, kind of doing their thing. But the news that we got out of the Raw that happened to be 4400 Shepherdsville Road, Kentucky. What the hell's there? I don't know where that is. Do you Google Map that? I don't know what it is.
I do. A lot of us do within the OVW fan, because Meathead, that is the address of Ohio Valley Wrestling, which Cody Rhodes was at some point early on in his career. So hearing him mentioning that in this Raw special was huge. A lot of us were posting and sharing like a screenshot of that with the captioning saying on that, because like he mentioned that specifically. I walked into 4400 Shepherdsville Road, want to be a pro wrestler, et cetera, et cetera. Like that was amazing. See right there. And also it just made me think about when Cody was on Broken Skull sessions with Stone Cold. He does mention OVW and mentioning how tremendous Al Snow is as well. So that's
Uncle
great
Al
to hear. Yes. So that was really cool. That was just something that made a lot of us pop. And yeah, to everybody that didn't know, now you know.
Okay, well, apparently I'll have to put it into my Google Maps on my phone and plug the phone into the car and find 4400 Shepherdsville Road. I haven't yet to be down there. And now I've been in Louisville. I've been in Kentucky. I've never stopped for anything. I think I was trying to get through Kentucky and just get out. But I'm going to have to find my way down to OV-Dub and maybe catch a show. You know, the Fanny Pack Kid, not looking like much of a kid anymore. That's the Fanny Pack Man now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy's got the mustache. I mean, you know, I know a little bit about a mustache every once in a while, but the kid looking like the man here. So big things popping at OVW. Hey, let's go to Dynamite from last Wednesday. And Linda, it was a big show. It was New Year's Smash. It was live from Denver. Apparently there was a snowstorm that trapped our young Matthew Thomas in the building. And, you know, I knew that he said he had tickets. I knew that he said he was going to be camera side. I didn't know how much he'd be on the damn TV. Matthew, I'm talking to you now. Sit down. We're trying to watch this show. But only distracting to you and me and his granny, apparently, because, you know, he was hoping that somebody would have used his granny's sign with his grandma's picture on it. So overall thoughts on Dynamite, and we'll get to a couple details in just a second here.
Yeah, it definitely was a smash.
But
yeah, the crowd was hot though. Lots of pops and a lot of reactions. I mean, there were a lot of awesome moments. Some of the matches insane. I know I mentioned to you offline about the trios match, but just had to think back here about some of the huge developments there. But
yeah, it was that trios match was. Oh,
sorry, I say the finish. I know Matthew mentioned how he had wanted a certain object thrown out into the audience because he might have caught it at the very end there. I know we'll get to that in a minute, but no, I mean it was awesome. A lot of unique moments. Yeah, just a lot of surprises. But they kept mentioning, excuse me, whether it was Dynamite or Rampage, the new era of AEW Dynamite and Rampage starts this week. So I kind of noticed there was already a different color scheme, maybe. So we'll see.
Well, in the commercials, there was a different color scheme. It was the blue and the red neons and kind of the pinkish neons that you saw for the promos for this coming Dynamite, which is going to be happening in, I believe it's in LA, correct?
Seattle this week, LA next week.
That's
However,
right.
Wait, did you mention bright pinks and blues? Is this going to be Dynamite 2.0?
I hope not. I hope not. Let's talk about that trios match. AEW Trios Championship Death Triangle, the champions Death Triangle, Pac, Pentel, Zero Miedo, and Rey Fenix taking on the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. It was 3-2 because it's a best of 7. And of course, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, the Elite, win to force a match 7. I was going to say a game 7, but a match 7. I love the premise. I feel like it's weirdly placed at this point in the calendar. If they were going to go 7-game series, wouldn't they go in October for the World Series or, you know, in June for the NBA Finals or something like that? Am I wrong?
I was thinking at some point it could have aligned maybe with Revolution next month, but
yeah,
it will wrap up in 2 weeks in LA. But funny you mentioned Game 7 because you know how John Tesh's NBA and NBC theme is with AEW programming. So this is definitely a Game 7 type moment here, making that interesting. But
Tony Khan made a big deal about that. He's like, I finally purchased a song that was my favorite song of all time. It was the theme to the NBA on NBC, written by John Tesh.
Yeah, live from downtown Chicago. That was Marv Albert.
Michael Jordan and the Bulls will take on Magic Johnson and the Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Yeah, that's our childhood right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So That was huge. I thought that was unique. I thought the ending was great there. They had the one-winged angel under the table. Looks like Kenny Omega was one that got more hurt from. I mean, just based off what I was like seeing, and I don't know for sure. But also, it was aligning. Would I'm not sure which Young Buck it was tap out in the ring to Pac, but turns out the pin did happen first.
Yes.
At the table. But I will say, since this has become a best of 7, I do like how they're putting in different stipulations as it's moving along.
As it should have.
A bit more unique, yeah. So
yeah.
I'm
Matthew,
this,
I was going to say, and Matthew had mentioned that, you're going to get to a point where you have a, falls count anywhere match, or, you add the different steps going up. As you were saying that and buying the John Tesh NBA on NBC theme song, maybe we should get the Fanny Pack Kid into AEW permanently, because maybe then Tony could buy do.
Quite possibly.
Maybe we can get Tony to buy that for us. All right.
WWE has purchased Alter Bridge music for Edge, and
2 songs actually, not just the one. They purchased 2. The TNT Championship match in the main event, the King of Television, Samoa Joe, took on Wordlo, and Joe was out for blood and hair. I wonder if Matthew Thomas won him a prize, because a ponytail was captured from Wardlow and chucked into the crowd.
Yeah, I know Matt had mentioned he was hoping that would get tossed in the crowd, but man, I just got to focus more on Wardlow in this moment. Like, what a huge breakout year this was for him, and I know
he got scalped.
I mean, Joe just kind of like, he went pretty close. I don't know if you can, and there might have to be a different hairdo than it initially intended after the cut was discussed. But man, I know he lost the TNT Championship at Full Gear, and now he did not win it back last week. But on top of that, he gets his hair cut, and then now it looks like the whole feud is moving to Darby. I mean, man, I think there should be something more.
I think there'll be more, but let's talk about more that we missed from the opening match of the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, taking on All Ego Ethan Page with Stokely Hathaway. By the way, that was not Shotzi Blackheart in the box with MJF. That was an independent wrestler by the name of, what did I say her name was? Daddy Doom or Dottie Doom, or she has been working the independent circuit for a while, and apparently this is again, nothing against Shotzi, but apparently her gimmick is a little bit more, say, S and M, looking for a little bit more whips, chains. It makes me think of that great line from an American classic, by the way, Weird Science. Linda, have you seen Weird Science?
Oh yeah, Kelly LeBrock.
Chips, tips, chains, and whips, kind of wax on the nipples, the regular kind of soiree. Oh yeah, but yeah,
everybody,
that's
it's 1985.
I don't care. That was great. Your thoughts on the tag along that MJF had? It's not his wife.
No, but I like how MJF was still in his own suite, as he has been the past couple of months, and he said, I've got the hottest, I don't know, he said lady, woman, chick, whatever, in Denver there, and that's cool. That just shows more of how much of a baller he is, and it helps her out. So
he is a straight baller.
Mm-hmm.
Straight baller. Let's make our way to SmackDown. SmackDown. SmackDown was promoted as being probably the biggest show they've had in a long time on live TV on Fox. The return of John Cena, but not all of his hair returned. I'm sorry, John. I know you watched the program, but you know what? We talked off air, Linda. You think that he just doesn't dilly-gaff? He just doesn't care. He doesn't give up.
In a good way. I mean, he's on top of the world.
Yeah.
That's great, though.
He looks great. You know what? He looks happy, but that camera wasn't helping him. And you could see that they tried panning around it, but every once in a while they catch it, and there's a big circle right on the back of his head. I know I shouldn't judge. I know I'm older than John Cena, and I know I'm very lucky to have what I have, right? It'll happen eventually. But let's talk about the match. John Cena, KO, with an amazing match. And you know what this felt like? This felt like a house show main event, because the faces got their stuff. They got in. Everybody's cheering. We'll get to the other big surprise in a second. But Linda, your thoughts on John Cena returning, getting in a match, working against the bloodline of Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns?
I mean, huge. You know how huge of a John Cena fan I am. By the way, my sister got me a John Cena t-shirt for Christmas, too, that I wore to the gym already. I was sporting it knowing the big return was last week. Yes, and you can't see me. I did that watching the match, too, because just enjoyed it. It's just a huge match feel. I mean, even just I'm thinking about the audience. Obviously, another great crowd, sold out crowd. I mean, this was a huge show. They already got a lot that happened that night, but waiting for this huge match to take place. You have KO come out, hearing Cena's music. Wow, that was awesome. And then the Bloodline music coming out like that. I mean,
that was main event. That was main event feel right there.
It was a great match too. I loved how I didn't think that Roman was really going to go in the match much. He had been doing the last couple of matches. He didn't really tag in much, but no, he got in there a lot. And I loved the crowd, saying we want Cena or just Cena, and it happened. And I thought everything just lined up really well in the match, and just a good way to end the match. And I haven't looked for any videos from after the match. We got to imagine Cena just really saying some really nice, good stuff to the audience after. So just a way.
There's some talk, you speak. Thank you for the segue. You speak of what happened after the match. There's talk of it happening, but it didn't happen on proper TV unless they bring it up, say, next week. That Roman Reigns went after Sami at the end of the match and was frustrated that they lost. So we'll see if that makes it onto real TV. Let's start at the beginning of the show. We couldn't bury the lead there, right? We had to talk about John Cena. But something that's made its way into really the number 2 thing on SmackDown right now, possibly the number 3, is Bray Wyatt, is LA Knight. Yeah. And a different mask on Uncle Howdy.
Yeah. I'm still enjoying this. I love what's happening. The more of that interaction with LA Knight and with Bray Wyatt, and just LA Knight, God, it's just cracking me up. Like, you expect me to believe that? Or like, you send some guy dressed up as, like, I don't know. I don't remember verbatim what he said, but
but it's great.
Yeah, they do have great chemistry, and it also is still adding more of that mystery. We're getting bits and pieces more to finding out who Uncle Howdy is. I mean, my goodness, he even appeared in ring, not just
he got physical.
Or at the
but not with LA Knight.
Yes, he did go after Bray Wyatt. That's right.
He delivered a Sister Abigail onto Bray Wyatt.
It was a sister something else, not Christian.
Sister Christian, don't you pin me no more. Sorry.
I got to go back and see or hear what Michael Cole said. But no, it's interesting. I think the best part of this was just Twitter going crazy on who Uncle Howdy is.
We have our beliefs as well. Linda, you said that somebody told you it was Edge, obviously.
Oh, no, I was just saying, like, obviously Bo Dallas is the big
it's Bo Dallas
speculation, but I guess the Edge can kind of see in the face, but no, he's taller. But no,
this is not a slammer, but Bo Dallas has the body shape that Bray Wyatt has. Edge is tall and lanky and kind of thin. That's Bo Dallas, and thank you, because you know what, Bo Dallas, welcome. Former NXT champion Bo Dallas, by the way.
Absolutely.
I believe that Uncle Howdy will be a. Thank you.
Believe.
Yeah, but I mean, as part of the B team, just kidding. Bo Dallas, part of what will eventually, and we're going to get this played out all throughout the year, will be the Wyatt Six. Remember, they talk about the Wyatt Six. You got Ramblin' Rabbit. You got Bo Dallas. You got the Fiend. I can't remember the rest of them. The Pig, Sister Abigail, all that other stuff. And again, we'll see, coming up a little bit later tonight, maybe some more on Alexa Bliss and the little, flashes that she's got going on as well. Does she turn into Sister Abigail? All right. One more thing happened on SmackDown. By the way, this is not, just an afterthought here. After Ronda Rousey defeats Raquel Gonzalez, almost said Raquel
Great
Rodriguez.
Match, by the way.
Great match. I thought she was amazing. Yeah. But who's really become a great heel was Ronda Rousey. And having her, they call it a heater. I don't know if you've heard this but she's got a heater with her. She's got Shayna Baszler off to the side. She's got the heater with her, to draw the extra heat. I thought she did a great job. She's been great talking trash in the ring. That's really something she stepped into. After she defeats it, this music hits. Boy, this sounds familiar. Is Ric Flair coming out? No! It's Charlotte returning, demands a match, gets a match, wins the match. The new 14-time, I believe. Was it 14 or 13? I think it's 14.
Oh, gosh, I don't know.
But the new women's champion on SmackDown, Charlotte Flair.
That was a huge surprise to me as well. Started off.
She looks amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. New gear, looks great. But yeah, again, I really enjoyed that match between Ronda and Raquel. Just seeing some new things I haven't seen in the ring before. Amazing. Even the finish, the armbar after Raquel falling off the ropes, like, oh,
yeah,
like that had to
14 time, by the way.
Okay, thank you. But it just made me think, like, what's the reasoning? Is there something, does Ronda have to step away, or is it just, I feel like, I mean, yes, it was a huge show, but we already had Cena Cena's return the final match, the main event. So I feel like this is something that, I mean, maybe it could have been something, I don't know, I guess not for the Rumble, because it could have been, I mean, I thought Charlotte was going to return in the Rumble personally, but now we know she's going in as champion unless something changes the next few weeks.
Right.
I don't know. It was a big surprise. I'm okay with it. However, it's just like, wow, Ronda's really coming into her own right now as this heel, and I was really loving this. And I think the majority of the IWC was more for this heel Ronda as well, and her.
Yeah. And it's taken a while. It's taken a few years for people to really buy into Ronda Rousey.
And just her unique style as well. And
remember, Ronda Rousey has trashed wrestling fans and wrestling in general and said, it's fake, I don't want to do it. But Ronda Rousey really is into this right now. She's really doing great work. Yeah. Speaking of more great work, we've got a match set up. I think it's for next week. I don't remember if it's this Friday or next Friday, but the monster among men, or the monster of all monsters, I think that's his moniker now, has challenged Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. It's time. You know what? It's time for another solid competitor. And this is going to be Gunther's biggest challenge, pun intended. But I see Gunther holding off our boy, Braun Strowman.
Yes, but I feel that we can continue with this. I was wondering, like, this could have been a big money match at the Rumble, but perhaps, Gunther still retains.
Ooh, you know what? I'm sorry. I completely forgot. And I'm sorry that I had that moment there. Finish off with Braun, and then we're going to go right back to Uncle Howdy and Bray and LA Knight. Go ahead. I apologize.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say that this could have, I felt maybe it could have been something big at the Rumble, but maybe this ends up being, a DQ finish, or if Gunther retains and then Braun somehow, gets whatever rematch, and we get the culmination of it at the Rumble. Not necessarily best of 3, but just something along those lines. But that's a huge one. A huge match. I mean, I love Gunther as champion. I love Imperium. I think they're great. He has been champion for a while, though.
That's okay.
As Intercontinental champion.
Over 200 days now.
Yeah, Braun, making his huge return back this year.
Think about 2022. I know that we had talked about maybe doing a recap in the year, and we didn't really do it, but let's talk about 2022. How business seems to have been aligned again. Like, WWE's front end alignment was off, and they finally went to the body shop, and they've started putting it back together. Think about all the people that have returned in 2022. Think about the people that have gotten maybe airtime again. Look at what happened on SmackDown. This is way, way, way under the radar. But, you've got Hit Row up there, and you got AJ Francis getting a singles match and going after Ricochet, just kind of quietly off to the side. So all of that stuff just kind of there. You know what I mean? It's not really there, but it's there. So.
Oh, go back to Uncle Howdy.
What I was going to say was, it'll be the first ever match at the Royal Rumble. It's announced. Bray Wyatt and